Good morning, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. We may have another panel member join us, but we have a quorum, so we're going to go ahead and get started. First, I am going to read a statement to please be advised that this is a public meeting in accordance with the Open Door Law that is being live streamed to the public and recorded. The recording will be archived and available to the public for no less than 90 days. By attending and participating in this meeting, you acknowledge and consent to the live streaming and recording of the meeting, including your image, voice, and any contributions you may make. For reference, this is a law change that went into effect on July 1 of this year, that all meetings have to be live streamed, recorded, and posted for at least 90 days on our website. For the people online who are participating, if you would like to be heard, raise your hand, please, and we'll unmute you in time. So I think with that, we can go ahead and get started. First item on the agenda is the May 9th, 2025 meeting minutes.
I'm just listening.
Okay, sorry. Meeting minutes. I think last meeting there were some concerns that it was not a full, complete reflection of the meeting. So the team went back and added in more detail about the comments. So that's what these meeting minutes are. Because we have someone online, it would require a roll call vote just for awareness.
I make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
Second.
Okay. Wait, Greta's reading. Greta, did you need something or did you just accidentally? Sorry. Okay. So I think make sure you unmute Dick. And Dick, you'll have to unmute yourself as well on your end. We'll unmute you and you will have to unmute for your vote.
He should be able to unmute. He should be able to, he's a presenter, so he should be able to unmute himself.
Okay. So, Jason?
Aye.
Amanda?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
And Dick?
Aye.
Is that
Can you hear me?
Yes. Thank you. So those
Okay,
meetings
thank you.
are approved. Next is the June 27, 2025 meeting minutes. So these were our last meeting. So
I make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
Second.
Aye.
Question of order. I wasn't here. As a quorum-based vote, will it matter? If I go
I think as long as there's a majority of the quorum.
Okay.
Aye.
Dick?
Aye.
With that, I think that's the minutes are approved. So the next item on the agenda is a resolution for the technical review panel's consideration. In our last meeting, we had sort of had the TNI, the Technology New to Indiana, come up, and I know Dick had some questions. So we came up with this resolution for transparency on what the process will be for submitting and approving TNI in Indiana, so the panel has a better idea of what this process is, and that we ensure that we're meeting our statutory deadlines. We have 30 days to respond, to acknowledge whether or not their application is complete. I think that's part of the reason we delegate that to the department, is that with meeting frequency and whatnot, it may be hard to, but when an application comes in, everything that 30 days, we need to make sure we meet that 30 days. So it's easier for the department if you guys can't necessarily meet. So we then also have a 90-day deadline for getting some sort of decision to them after we notify them that their application is complete. So that's what this process is meant to, yeah.
Isn't the 30 days to say, hey, we've got your application, not that it's complete or not?
Yes, to acknowledge that the application has been received.
Yeah. And then 90 days for the come and decide, hey, this is not complete, or it's approved, or it's a pilot, or any of the options.
Right, if it needs to be denied because it's still not
Or denied.
complete,
Yeah,
then that has to
Yeah.
be done within 90 days after the
Okay.
acknowledgement. Sorry.
yeah.
Lack of clarity on that, yes. Thank you.
We're not sure that was the exact intent, but that's what it reads.
Move my only comment.
Just,
So-
just a question.
120 days.
Yeah. An answer of some kind.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Dick, you have a question?
Yes, how close was this protocol? I know it wasn't in effect yet, but happened on the last one that we approved. What's changed since the last one that was approved, the sledgehammer?
Nothing's changed.
This
compared to
isn't
this?
change, yeah, this doesn't change what's been happening. We just wanted to formalize that this is what the process should be and is. Basically, since, you had some questions, and I think it's just so that everyone
Sure.
understands how it's working. So it's not meant to really change how things have been working, but just to be transparent and to sort of document the process.
Okay, that's very, very helpful to have it in writing, so everybody can follow the same rules.
Exactly, yeah.
And the
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe this is the wrong draft, wrong version.
So, are there any questions about the
We're checking something.
resolution from, other than what they're checking from the panel members? Do you guys have any questions about this? I guess one more thing I'll note while they're checking that is that, kind of like we did with the ordinances, if there was anything contested or questioned kind of early in the process, we would raise it to you guys, for awareness.
The wording of the resolution as presented here, maybe what you're checking, speaks to the issue of your conversation is complete.
Yes, that's what we're checking, exactly. Right.
I think, so Mike had made that change and, it was in one of the drafts. And
Yeah.
I think somehow that draft has made it.
Yeah, so that sent that, and whether application complete needs removed from this
Yeah.
draft.
Yeah, give me a second to,
I mean, why couldn't you leave it as it's written that,
because that's not what the law says.
oh, really? Does that ever matter?
Every day.
Oh, wait, we're led by a council.
There's a reason. The reason has become clear.
So do we just need to, is that the only problem, Mike, with this draft?
I think so. I might have printed the wrong version.
So it would be, I think, anything we would be looking at voting on would remove the and whether the application, so in the second whereas,
Yeah.
and whether the application is complete,
Yes, strike that, I think.
would be struck for the consideration of the version to be approved.
Why would it take more than 30 days? No, it's complete.
We shouldn't, but that's what the law says.
Okay, it is the way that I meant it to be. So the technical review panel does notify them whether or not it's been received and whether it's complete no later than 30 days. But we still only have 90 days to reply to them regardless of the status.
That's right, okay. Gotcha.
Sorry, so sorry. So that does say in.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry for confusion.
So
I-
to that point, if it's not complete,
I now remember.
to that point, if it's not complete, there's still a 90-day period
Right,
to
we would,
approve or disapprove?
yes, regardless of whether or not it's complete, after that, before that 90-day period is over, after they've been notified whether or not it's complete, we would still have to notify them that it's denied because it's not.
Oh, I got you. Good.
Or it would, or something like, they got you the complete stuff 2 days before the 90 days, and it's still at that point, do a denial because you didn't have time to make a
Well,
decision,
they'll-
you know, that sort of thing, that you can deny it for other reasons, but.
Well, the only thing that I was gonna say on, with that language remaining in is that, it's not against the law, is that, 90-day notification after receipt of their complete application.
Right, and that's not,
That's
that's
what-
unfortunately not what the, yeah,
That's
Yeah,
not
that's
the
what,
law says.
that's what I.
yeah, that's where
should
we
be
were
within- I was correct.
internally. It's because I think in our brains, we were thinking it's,
Right. I think that was probably the
That's-
intent, but that's not.
Yeah,
break
that's
the law,
the
yeah.
source of all the confusion, yeah.
yeah, yeah, so.
Thanks for the clarification.
So I had a question.
Yes.
Still on this. So is there anything in here that talks about, if they have a warranty, will they provide that information?
That comes out when we do the review.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a question we have.
Is it,
Is that listed in the,
It's not, but we could add it.
I mean, I know some of them do have a warranty, maybe most of them
Most
have
of
a
them.
warranty. So
Well, yeah,
I think if it was available that they should,
yeah, we always ask that and try to include that.
but I don't think it says anywhere in here about
It-
warranty.
yeah. We can add it. Yeah, we can add that.
That might help our decision. Or maybe.
Right.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think in that first
And
line,
that, I think,
so,
yeah,
performance
Well,
expectations
the-
under state.
well, no, let's add another letter in there.
Yeah.
Another item.
Well, then add in, and then re-letter accordingly.
Yeah. Mhm. Warranty information, request warranty information. Yeah, good call, John.
That is the amended version that would be, or that we would be included in any motion that is made to approve it. Okay. Are there any other questions, concerns about it?
I move that we approve the resolution amended.
Is amended with the warranty.
Yeah, no.
There's a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Jason?
Aye.
Amanda?
Aye.
Don?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
And Dick?
Aye.
Thank you. The resolution as amended. So, next on the agenda is the biomicrobic retrofab.
Yep.
The technology
Yep.
in Indiana.
I think we heard briefly about it last month, and Daniel and Jim, if you take over, unmute, and if you have something to share, go ahead and share your screen.
All right, thank you guys for your time. This is Daniel Westrich. I'm going to share a quick presentation I put together. This basically outlines, and let me know if guys can see the presentation.
Yep, we
Yes.
do.
Okay. I, however, cannot see it.
You might have to put it on the screen,
Yeah.
on camera.
Are you guys seeing me change the slides?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. This basically just outlines what you're looking for and how the product works, and mostly focuses on how it's installed, because I don't think that was extremely clear for you guys last time. So I wanted to go through that pretty briefly, pretty quickly, just to give you guys a better understanding of how the product works. So in a nutshell, you have sewage ponding in the backyard. You have an old septic system that's failing, an old drain field that's failing. Sometimes this is caused by increasing usage or new occupants who have changed the way that the old system was handled. And so basically with your initial installation, you have a gravel fill, slime attaches or biomat attaches to the gravel, acts as a natural filter. Usually distribution pipe, everything comes out clean. It starts like that. Then as you, over time, the gravel starts getting clogged up as the biomat thickens, and you start to get water that ponds to the surface there. So this sends untreated sewage up to the surface, and in a nutshell, we definitely don't want that happening. So we have 3 different RetroFast product sizes. One that treats 150 gallons per day, one that treats 250 gallons per day, and one that treats 375 gallons per day. This was tested under the ETV protocol, because NSF's limitations are 500 gallons to 1,500 gallons. So this is our third-party testing that we went through. It's the only testing we could do. And then I wanted to break down like what actually comes with the RetroFast. So you'll get a lid, which is number 1 there. You'll get a blower. You'll get an airline and a gasket. You'll get a manual, obviously, blower housing, a blower, and a liner, and blower piping and screws. And what's actually not mentioned here is the media. And so essentially what you do to install this product is, we'll go to the next picture. You actually can remove all of this media out and the airlift, which is that black thing with the white thing hanging off of it. That's called a return trough, and it has an airlift on it. And so you remove this media, and if you go to step 2, you insert the liner, so you can smash down this liner, and it goes down into the existing septic tank. You attach the effluent pipe to it, and you attach the liner via these long flaps that come off the side here. So this is usually installed into a riser directly into the concrete tank. We advise against opening up an existing concrete tank without having some kind of structural engineer ensure that it's safe. But some of these are old septic tanks, so we usually want someone to check out the structural integrity of that tank. So just to give you an actual place where this was installed, to kind of give you an idea. So this tank was cut into down here, over here. This was screwed to the concrete tank. They're installing the airliner. They removed the media. They put the liner into the tank. Install the airline, which attaches to the blower that's up here, and then you have a vent port here. And this is just another picture of one that was installed as well. These can be used in new construction as well for 1 to 2 occupants in a home, and they have been installed in that manner. But at the end of the day, this product can be used for rejuvenation as well, and we have very successfully in the past. And this is just another picture of one being installed, where you can see the sewage ponding here. This was installed into the riser. You can see it screwed in here, airline through the riser. But just in a nutshell, the whole unit can be disassembled and reassembled in the tank itself. You can see the media back here sitting out. This person has squished the liner down, and it goes and fits directly into an existing tank. And of course, with all of this, we give service manuals and service intervals of which and how to check this and how to install this. And basically, with our products, our FAST products already approved in Indiana, but we want you, and we'll inform the homeowners of this, but to keep the blower running, all you really need to do is clean this air filter here. We got to check for proper venting. When you open up the lid, you're gonna make sure that the water is splashing over the media. Check the amount of growth on the media, look at the effluent, and then you want to pump the sludge when it comes to time to pump the sludge, which we also give that formula as well. So use a sludge judge. You know, the depth of the fast unit. Basically, once the sludge gets up to within 3 to 4 inches of the bottom of the fast unit, you want to pump that out. We give a formula for that. And then if there's ever any kind of trouble or anything, you can contact Biomicrobics directly or our distributor, which is Scott Rexroth, who is on the phone here today. And that's basically in a nutshell. I will take any questions that you guys may have.
Can it be installed in a single compartment tank?
It can be. So we would want it shifted closer to the effluent side, as close as you can get so you can have settling. But yeah, it can be in a single compartment or a dual compartment tank.
Is it okay to install a second tank after the first tank and put the unit in that?
Yes. I mean, we would prefer a 2-compartment tank because we like that settling because it gets you better effluent quality as far as, TSS coming out. But, what this product does is it sends out, way more highly oxygenated water. So it starves that biomat. And that's how this product works because the biomat is a anaerobic bacteria that's growing and kind of taking over. And so if we send out oxygenated water, what happens is that biomat starves out pretty quickly and your drain field gets repaired via that way.
So you showed us some models, but they were smaller than a 3-bedroom home. So are we just approving for a 1 or 2-bedroom home here?
Jim has his hand raised. I think he can answer that better.
Jim, you should be able to unmute yourself.
I think I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. I think that the difference is those flow rates are based upon actuals. And the actual water consumption of a 3-bedroom home probably fits into that genre, the 375. But that's based upon an assessment of the situation at the home by the installer and how that all looks. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know how to
raise my hand.
Yeah.
What would you a commercial?
Actual
Actual 60%, 67% is rejuvenation. We wouldn't size it for new. He said it could be used for new. We wouldn't size it for new that way.
This is Scott. I don't know
Should
how
I
to
make
raise
that?
my hand on my phone.
Go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, so I guess the other thing is when you're talking about secondary treatment and you're talking about third-party testing with like NSF, you're looking at secondary treatment in order to get down to 30-30 levels, okay, at some actual flows, like Jim said. When we're rejuvenating, there's no requirement there's nothing that says when you're rejuvenating, you have to get to 30-30. We just have to turn the biology around. So it doesn't necessarily take an extremely large unit to turn the biology around. That's why this is a smaller retro unit for rejuvenation purposes. So we're looking at a couple different applications. When they say it was tested at smaller flows, well, that's yes, because we're not trying to meet a standard 40 test here. We're trying to create a rejuvenation product. I don't know if that makes sense. Will there need to be an operating permit with this system?
Yes.
We didn't require it. Not for review.
Oh, the county could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're saying it's not required from the manufacturer to have an operating permit.
Product shall be. That would be one of the stipulations.
Yeah, and one of the conditions, Dick,
Number 10,
that you've used on, on the last rejuvenation product that the panel approved was the Sledgehammer, and one of the conditions was the product shall be inspected minimum twice a year, more frequently to ensure proper operation and maintenance. So that, in essence, that there's a requirement similar to an operating permit there. But the permit will be issued by the county health department, and they could also issue an operating permit if they wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, I would defer that to Scott, but we usually have our distributors or they have maintenance providers that would check up on this product. We usually require at least, twice a year inspection.
Does that information go to the manufacturer as well as the county, or who does it go to?
From
Typically
Biomicrobics
when-
or, go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, typically when we do maintenance, we send it to the, sorry, I'm driving a big truck, so I might be bouncing around a little bit here. We send it back to the county. And so they have it on file, but we keep it on file because at least with NSF tests or NSF units, periodically you may get audited. And you have to have all those records available as a service provider. So yes, we keep them and we do send them to the county. We used to send them to the state, but somebody there told us not to send them anymore because they got too many files.
Okay. We'll take it.
can I ask a question? So the manufacturer will be the one, or the manufacturer's rep will be the one that trains, provides training. Do you already, since you have an NSF approved product with this product, will you have an operation and maintenance group that's ready to, how long will the turnaround be till, operation and maintenance is doable for these homeowners?
Yeah, the maintenance is the same as the fast product. So we've already got service providers for that. So this will be, it's the same routine. So yeah, they're ready to go now. If that answers your question, if that's what you're asking.
Yes, thank you.
Question?
So one of the earlier slides, are we approving one model or is there multiple models here? Not real
They've
sure.
identified three different, it's one product, but it
Okay.
has three sizes.
Three sizes.
But with Indiana, typically our homes are gonna be, using probably the Retrofest, the RTS 0.375.
Okay.
That model will be probably what you see going out, in the field.
Okay.
And I don't know how they're gonna handle a house that's a 6-bedroom home. We haven't gone there yet. So,
Yeah.
that will be the communication. We may have to come back to y'all, but right now, for most of our,
So maybe the biggest one would be like a 3-bedroom home?
3 or 4, because again, use is usually 60% or so.
Actual.
And what we've done with rejuvenation is there's usually a timeline. If it doesn't solve the surfacing of effluent, then Daniel, do you have anything to say about that? Like what's the
Warranty?
I guess the warranty for performance on this? If it goes in the ground August 1st and I have a failing surfacing of effluent, what kind of timeline can you tell me if I'm the homeowner that I can expect from your product?
So in a nutshell, we have a Save Our Septic warranty that if this product does not start working if it's not working within a year, we will give the homeowner the cost of the product back. We cannot give them their money back on the cost to install it or any of that, but we will give them their money back on the product. And we've never had to do that. So But in a general sense, the timeline, what we would expect, once the site evaluation has been completed and the retrofast system been installed, customers should see a notable difference in the drain field within a few months. If the drain field is not rehabilitated within a year, again, our SOS program, Biomicrobics, will refund the homeowner the cost of the system. So they'll be out the money of the installation, but they will at least get the money back for the system.
The key is making sure the site is a good candidate to even
Yeah.
try rejuvenation.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, we
That's
have
the
a
first
whole
part,
site evaluation form that our distributor would come in and he would determine that the site is biologically failing. I mean, there could be other reasons, compaction. I mean, there could be other reasons, but once he has determined that it's biologically failing, once that system is installed, that SOS warranty will kick in.
Looks like Jim wants to add something.
Yeah, Daniel, did you send them the report from Massachusetts Tech Center?
Yes.
Okay, there should be a report that was included in this from Massachusetts Tech Center where they tested the product on a failed drain field, and that'll give you kind of the timeline of how quickly it responds.
Perfect.
Is that yeah. I sent him the Table Rock Lake study and the Hohlfelder report.
Yeah, it'd be the Hoyfelter report, you know, George.
Yep.
Got kind of a. Not
Does this warranty,
Go ahead,
And
Dave.
does this,
and I would say refer to Scott on this because he's installed. These are already in the state of Indiana, so obviously approved by local health departments to be installed. But he can tell you firsthand that the product works. And if you want to speak on that, Scott, please go ahead.
Yeah, we've got several of them in. If I was just guessing off the top of my head, I would say 30 maybe. Yeah, so far every one of them's worked. We've done a site evaluation to make sure it's not, somebody using too much water or somebody's got, running toilet or something like that. And it's been you got to do your best to make sure it's a biomat failure. But if it's indeed a biomat failure, I mean, the number one thing to do to fix a biomat is to get oxygen, a lot of dissolved oxygen in the system, which is what this does really well. So so far the units that we've put in, most of them have actually been the middle sized unit because you get some pretty good treatment out of that, but you're getting the biggest component, which is dissolved oxygen. You're getting a lot of dissolved oxygen. So that's why I said these aren't always evaluated. When you're rejuvenating, it's not just like, oh, we got a 3-bedroom house, so we have to have a unit that does 450 gallons. I mean, it's all about the oxygen. So we've been using the middle size unit and it's done fantastic. I mean, I can send some pictures or anything like that if somebody wants to see those. Some of the
Are you talking
yards
about-
look like before and after.
systems in Indiana, 30 in Indiana?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we probably got about 30 just in Indiana, yes.
And they were allowed to do that as like just experimental thing?
The county allowed it.
Okay.
And
Gotcha.
he's talking about
It
a pilot.
was,
Gotcha.
yeah, these were
The county had
these
the
were
authority.
situations where they might have been, because it hasn't gone through a committee like this. They were last resort things. Like we've tried everything we can, and I don't really want to kick them out of the house. We'll try this and see if this will keep me from kick somebody out of the house. And so far they've all worked. So they've not been pretty sites, I can tell you that.
My question is a little more global. The Terra lifts, are those installations that this committee should review as well? If we're talking.
But we've always, stayed neutral on the Terra lift
Uh-huh.
and except with that we've, don't want it really used between the field and the perimeter drain.
Okay.
But other than that, it's,
And I only ask because I think you make a good point that you want to make sure that these systems are good candidates for these technologies. And I can give examples all day long of companies that do the Terra lifts with almost no investigation whatsoever.
yeah.
And then that becomes, an issue. And so anyway, I just, I didn't, like, so that's kind of a different issue. But
It is.
when we're looking at these kind of things, I mean, it seems like the technology or the aeration of biomat is similar to what they're trying to do with Terra lifts. So I didn't know if that was a technology that,
Like I said, we just stay neutral on that. They're not really digging up or installing components.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Mhm.
And we do have a dated, but it's good science, literature review from Purdue University,
Uh-huh.
on how to rejuvenate a biologically failed soil absorption field with, like Scott had said, and Daniel said, with DO, with putting dissolved oxygen in there, how you can rejuvenate that. So the science is sound. The issue is, like they said, you still have to look at the whole picture in that, do I have an upslope perimeter drain? Was this system put in before subsurface drainage was part of our rule? So you do have to look at the whole animal before you say, I could throw this in the ground and fix it.
And I know this kind of dips more to kind of consumer protection necessarily than, so but it does get frustrating when people spend thousands of dollars on a product that was not right for their situation, and then they're kind of ticked off about that. But yeah, can't, got it. Anyway, I digress. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we have that site evaluation happen, because we want to avoid that totally. We don't want someone spending money on our system that's not going to work for them. So that's why we, Scott knows, he knows well enough to that it's just a drain field problem. So, but I think he was about to talk as well.
Well, I just wanted to, I guess I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, but I wanted to make sure that that everyone knows there is a pretty clear difference between this product and Terra Lift. They're not the same at all.
Yeah, no, I know that.
He wasn't implying that.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're actually saying, okay, how did a biomat form? It had a lot of nutrients and a lack of oxygen, right? You have a whole lot of nutrients, but not very much oxygen. You're going to start forming a biomat. It's going to be an anaerobic, atmosphere there. But so how do you fix that? How you fix it is you don't just add bugs to it. You don't just, shoot some beads in, that kind of stuff is temporary, but you want to fix it for good. You need to reverse the science. So we're going to reverse it. We're going to bring the nutrient level down by providing some treatment in there, but also a ton of oxygen. And that's really the key. And so we're going to reverse the biology, which then will eat away at that biomat and bring the system back.
It's been installed all over the state, or is it concentrated in the area? I was curious.
The installs we have are, they're probably, most of them are in a couple different counties, more locally, but there are some, northern and southern Indiana, a few, but most of them are around central Indiana.
Tim?
Yeah,
Your hand up.
one thing I'd like to add that I think hasn't been pointed out is that the Retrofast product is also providing reduction of the solids that are going out to that drain field. In other words, Scott is well pointed out in regards to the high oxygen level that's going out to the drain field, but it's also drastically reducing the solids that are going out. One of the things I've seen done is after a field has been rejuvenated, and let's say we're working with a low income couple that's about ready to get kicked out of their house anyway, can't afford, all of a sudden they're saying, hey, we're concerned about our electrical bill here because of this blower that's running. I have seen us turn the blower off and let that media in there act as an effluent filter, and seen it basically continue to operate for years and years. And then let's say they have a Thanksgiving or Christmas Day celebration that plugs it up again. Then they just flip the switch, turn the blower back on, and they're back operating again. So there is some flexibility with the use of the media of reducing the solids that are going out the field. We're not just putting oxygenated water, we're putting oxygenated water with less solids going out to the field. And then B, it kind of acts just almost, well, it is an effluent filter. If you look at that media and compare it to an effluent filter, you're also installing an effluent filter when the aerator isn't running. Is there any questions on that?
Any other questions from the panel?
Like vote on?
Yeah, and we have
We have the list of conditions, approved conditions.
the list of approved.
These are exact conditions that you approved for the sledgehammer product. It's in your spec stuff with it.
Those would be,
Right at the bottom.
and so these conditions would apply to both
there.
technologies at play today.
Yeah.
It's the same conditions for both. So it would be approval with these conditions.
I do have a question for how the letter is written, because this last comment does change things a little bit on how we would actually issue the letter and if it needs to be added to this condition. My understanding of this product is how it's tested at ETV, and maybe is with the aerator running. You know, if the aerator's not running, it should be an alarm state. The homeowner should be made aware of that. So I understand and appreciate what Jim shared with us, but we would be approving it with the aerator running. That's how it's been tested and came to us.
Yeah, but if there's no health hazard or no ponding, then they don't need it. And I think that's what Jim's saying, although our preference would be just leave it on.
What if they turn it off 2 weeks into it? If it, you know, would we put the stipulation that the
Then if-
surfacing of effluent is no longer
Yeah,
there?
there's still, I don't think, yeah. If there's sewage ponding, they can't turn it off.
But where does it say that? If the manufacturer comes to us saying you can turn
Because
it
it
off?
would be failure, right?
It'd be still in failure.
Because you're still in failure. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we would prefer to keep, we would prefer to keep that running. But there are situations where, let's just say it's a weekend home and it's a vacation home or something, or they're on like a nice lake, and then they get there and they rush the system really hard and push the system really hard for the weekend, and then you get ponding, and we would, in that instance, probably tell them to leave it on and then till they come back, get the field rejuvenated. But in almost all instances, we would either run it all the time or we would do like a 12-hour on or a 12-hour off kind of situation. We typically do not suggest to not run the aerator. It would have to be some kind of special circumstance that would, like Jim said, like a low-income family that can't afford the electricity, or and I would say we would default to Scott to make that determination, but we typically want the blower running. So.
And I think all of those situations are handled by Scott and the county local officials in regards to particular individuals. I'm not saying that the state should get involved in that. I'm trying to explain that there are circumstances that the system can be used in a different methodology and still achieve the results you're looking for.
Do we have any motion?
I make a motion that we approve what do you call it? Retrofast system based on the conditions outlined here.
Second? Ethan?
Aye.
Amanda?
Aye.
Don?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Dick?
Aye.
With that, the technology is approved.
Can you send me those conditions, please? I don't think I'm privy to that information.
It'll be in the approval letter,
Awesome. Perfect.
but I'll send them to you nonetheless, but yeah. Yep. I'll send them to you right after the meeting.
Thank you.
Yep. If It's on the TRP website right now too.
Okay, cool. I can look that up pretty easily then. Thank you so much.
So next up on the agenda is the AeroStream remediator.
Yep. So Carl, take it away.
Morning, can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I'm Carl Holt. I'm the founder.
Daniel,
and
can you
owner-
stop sharing your screen? I'm sorry, Carl, just a second. There you go. All right.
All right, thank you.
Sorry, go ahead.
So I'm the
Sorry
I'm
about
the
that.
founder and owner of AeroStream. So I just want to kind of start with a brief history of AeroStream and how we got here, and then at the end we'll open it up to Q&A. So AeroStream's very unique compared to a lot of the other ATU manufacturers. We started out in the remediation business about 22 years ago, and ultimately we released the NSF 40 product for new installations. So it wasn't that I just woke up one morning and decided to get into the wastewater industry. I'm a mechanical engineer, about 28 years of experience. Most of my early career was in product design and development and engines and power equipment industry. So in 2003, I think I was working at Harley Davidson at the time. I was faced with the septic system failure of my 13-year-old system. So, I went through the usual steps to remedy the problem, frequent pumping, magic bugs, and ultimately a quote for $30,000 to replace it. I recall going to a neighborhood party. It was on Memorial Day, and I was telling my friends about my woes about my septic system. And well, I didn't get much sympathy, but it was a good story to tell. So at that time, I didn't have $30,000 in the bank to replace it. So I convinced my wife that let me try fixing it over the summer, and we could save $30,000. So I started doing research and testing, and ended up converting my conventional system to an aerobic environment. Later on that summer, I went to another neighborhood party, and friends were asking me, well, did you replace your system? And I said, well, no, I fixed it. And, they started saying, well, mine doesn't work so well. Can you fix mine? And I kind of shrugged my shoulders and said, well, I can try. So before you know it, that summer I had 10 trials underway, and all of them were successful. So it kind of dawned on me that if my small neighborhood had so many failed systems and I could fix them, how many of these are, across the country and, really around the world? So at that point in time, I decided that, maybe I got something and I can make some money doing this. So I applied for my first patent in 2003 and obtained Wisconsin approval. So, 22 years later, we've got tens of thousands of these systems installed around the world, and we run about a 98% success rate. So, one of the questions is, why are we successful? Well, with this number of systems, we're really installed in every system configuration you can imagine, soil type and climate. We've got the knowledge to assess the application, make sure it's a good candidate for aerobic remediation, and we have the knowledge to troubleshoot after the installation. So, our success is really driven by customer service, and we take care of the customers. So when we get an inquiry, we study the application and ask a lot of questions and make sure we're dealing with a biomat related failure. We've got the knowledge to sort that out pretty easy. So once we determine that we know it's a biomat related failure, we dig into the use of the system, the maintenance, and gather all this information so we can properly size the system and just verify it's a biomat related failure. So when we go into this, we set the expectations with the installer and the consumer. We tend to under-promise and over-deliver. This is not a magical overnight cure. It takes some time, as I think you probably heard in other presentations. We do a great job of following up with emails and phone calls and make sure that we're making progress in the remediation goal. So I think everybody has a pretty good understanding on how aerobic remediation works. All of these systems function pretty much the same. As an engineer, I tend to come up with the simplest design, both from a process standpoint, components, and then the installation, ease of installation. And that's how we ended up with our current product. So that's all of the information I think I need to present right now. I think all the other details have been distributed through the TNI application, and I'll open it up to Q&As.
Would we need a Indiana-specific manual that, I noticed, you've got two configurations, a cesspool and a dry well in here that would.
We'll take care of that.
Okay.
But yeah, that's one of the conditions that they have a
Right.
Indiana manual approved by the department.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. So this isn't that.
Right. No.
Okay.
I just turned out to have something,
Gotcha.
pictures. Yeah. But you received everything that they submitted, you have via email.
Okay.
You had any trial systems in Indiana?
We do not have any trials in Indiana. We did use the NSF 40 testing protocol out in Massachusetts. George was involved in that. I think we probably did that in 2010. That data is included on page 7 of the application.
Do you recommend the outlet filter with the system? And then it seems like it's blowing air in there. So does that stir things up? And normally we think of the septic tank as settling chamber.
Yeah, so the way our product is designed, there's about a 12 to 14 inch quiescent zone at the bottom of the tank. So the diffuser rests on the bottom, but the air comes out, about 14 inches above the tank floor. So you get settling of sludge in that area. And there's a mixing zone in between 12 and 14 inches where you do get some solids that go back into suspension. So you get some simultaneous nitrification and denitrification as it transfers through that 2-inch zone in the tank. Regarding the effluent filter, if you have access to the outlet baffle and can put a filter in, we recommend that, but not every system that we have has an effluent filter in it. They come with an effluent filter, but they can't always be installed without major changes to the tank.
Can you speak briefly about the difference between the Pro and the LT?
So typically we size this based on number of occupants in the home. And then, we also take in consideration the number of bedrooms because that would determine the size of the drain field that was originally put in. You can't really oversize the system. So what happens is if you only have 2 people living in the home and all they need is the LT model, the smallest model, they may opt for the Proline model. And what that does is gets the dissolved oxygen level up to a higher level, and it'll expedite the remediation process. I would say that we sell more Prolines than all the other models combined. People are talking about a $30,000 problem, and an extra $500 or $800 is kind of a no-brainer for them to step up to a larger model.
Thank you.
Questions from the panel?
Denise has a question.
Carl, can I ask you, we're on the verge of approving our NSF product. With this product, How long will it take for you to get an operation and maintenance group on the ground in Indiana?
We've got, installers that are interested in it because, we've been, working on the NSF 40. So I would say within, a month or two, we'd be able to get, somebody, up and running.
Thank you.
Questions?
Good conditions.
I'm sorry.
Jason?
Aye.
Amanda?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Dick?
Aye.
So with that, it's approved. So that is our, last agenda item.
Thank you for your time this morning.
Look at that.
Well,
Don't jinx it.
So see, next meeting date is on there, and I think
Yeah, I didn't,
at this point, we don't have any pending P&I.
yeah, well, there might be some,
I mean, something could come up,
there
so,
was stuff in 90 days.
so I think it would be,
TBD.
yeah, I think it will be a TBD, depending on, P&I. We will also need to be working, on the commercial rule update, to get that before you guys, but that's still a work in progress, so, there's not an immediate time for a meeting on that. So I think for now, we will be in contact with the next, so I don't think, we do not expect one next
No,
in August. Yeah, so we will not have one in August, and we'll be in contact with where,
Reminding us of the process where the rule is gonna go from now.
residential.
Yes.
so the, state budget agency has to review and approve the regulatory analysis. So, there's no required time frame on that, so they will be aware of our statutory deadline. So we'll get feedback from them on the rule, so, depending on what that feedback is, there'll be some back and forth, and we may need to have to bring some stuff that they raised to you guys. Kind of looking at, if we have to change something because of what they are commenting on, those sorts of things. And then, once we get approval from the budget agency, then we start the sort of more official public phase of this. And so that would be, we filed a notice that starts the rulemaking, the 30-day wait for a public hearing. We hold the public hearing. If there are no substantive comments, then we can proceed, which I think would involve you guys kind of giving your final, yes, we approve this rule in this version to be adopted. And then it would have to go to our executive board as well. Don't expect them to question anything you guys have done. So, they meet every 2 months, and once we get that approval, then it goes to the Office of the Attorney General for form and legality, and then to the Governor's Office for final review. But the Governor's Office is already aware and basically landing on their desk for the first time to be denied.
Holding their breath, waiting for it.
Right. So they'll have with the budget agency review and stuff. Not a surprise, so we don't really worry about the Governor's Office review. So that's kind of the high level process. Now, kind of another step in there is if there are substantive comments at that public hearing, we had to do a second public comment period, which would be 30 days, hold another public comment, and then the process would move on from there. So
we have our final draft available? even the last meeting we were.
Yes, we can get that,
So,
Yep.
and we
I'll
can,
send it to you. We have the version of just what's changing in the rule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes,
yeah.
it's a specific formatting required for the process. So it looks a little different formatting wise than what you guys were looking at, which was just kind of the rule itself.
Yeah, so that doesn't have the stuff that's not changing. Stuff in the rule is staying the same, it's not in that document, it's everything that's changing.
So,
Don't email that out.
um, feels like hurry up and wait, but, with the comments, oh, you know, I forgot a step because the regulatory analysis changed. So with impact over $1 million, it also has to go to the state budget committee. So those are the legislators. And so that they meet quarterly. So again, that's where all this funding stuff shakes out. And trying to get it done in that year process. And that's why it's so hard to get it done in a year. It's just, when different groups meet and all of that and how long reviews take. So,
Last changes did push it over $1 million.
yes, I forgot that happened. So yeah, so that will be the budget committee reviews, so in there. Just today. Great. So with that, I think we can adjourn the meeting.
I move.
All right, adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Geez, I try to get in that